Chris gets to select which weapon he wants to keep for himself and which one he'll give to Georgi.
I can pick out of anybody's.
No. Out of your two, you're giving me one. And then we will battle to the death.
Well, you just gave away the ending. Okay.
It's okay. Otherwise, it's unfair for her.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give you the bow.
Okay.
Because I don't have any
Excellent
experience
choice.
with bows.
Thank you.
And I
Thank
feel
you.
like Peter and I can rush
With
you.
we can re-roll the bow if you like, and Craig, you can give me a weapon of your choice if you think it's too unfair.
Oh no, I think this is. I think
is a good
really
choice.
good.
Okay, let's go. Do you want me to go? Because it's a wonky one. So we are fighting in the duel separately, the three of us. And in your main argument, you have to say why you would defeat us, your opponent, with the weapon of your choice.
Yeah.
Okay. Craig, start the timer.
I'll go first if you want.
Oh, really?
I've been first, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you
kill me.
Gun ho to kill your friends, Georgi. I mean, like, calm down.
All right, Craig, you ready? Okay, so I remember Georgi being given a bow. I don't remember it coming with any arrows.
Bet you didn't see that one coming, huh?
And so I'm just going to stab Georgi whilst he's holding a fancy stick with string attached to it. I don't see him as being much of a threat in that. As for Chris, I'm just outranging Chris. I've got a good couple meters to just keep him at range, and just, I mean, if he's really going for hell for leather and just charging at me, would you just give it a throw? But ideally, I'm just going to hold on to it and just keep him at range, like a tomahawk. We're talking like yay long. Like, he's going to have to get in really close. He's going to have to get past a good 2 meter long worth of stabby potential to get in to do any damage. I think I've got both these boys against the ropes. I think I'm done.
There you go.
Okay, that's a stick.
Judge, do I have arrows? Give me 2 arrows, man.
No one specified arrows.
Judge, Craig.
Gotta give him at least an arrow.
Yeah!
Why?
Just come on!
Because an arrow's not gonna kill you. Like, most arrow injuries aren't fatal at all.
So I hide until he uses his arrow on Peter, and then I show up.
We're not in it. We're not in it at the same time. We're facing off hypothetically one against the other in like a Colosseum setting.
But Peter's first point still it's gonna win over a lot of people. Just saying, go. You can go, Georgi. Let's see this. 1 arrow.
Okay, so 1 or 2. Ah, dude.
You got given the bow. Work with the bow. You don't have arrows. Make it work.
Okay, I'll make it work.
You're lucky you have an arrow.
I'm holding the bow in one hand. I'm holding the arrow in another. And I'm just wiggling around, using my agility and dodging away both the tomahawk and the spear. Listen, I'll go in close, I'll go around you, and I'll just have you by the neck with the string of the bow, and with the other hand, I'm just using that arrow straight on your neck while you're disabled. So the tomahawk is tricky, right? You can throw it at me, which is fairly easy to dodge, and you might not even land with the edge against me. And you might try to use it in single combat, which is more likely, but all I need is a 1 good block. The tomahawk, unless you hit my head, it's not gonna kill me. But if you don't kill me, you get me into a frenzy. And if I'm in a frenzy and I'm holding an arrow, that's going straight in your eye, and that's game over from there. With the spear, it's a little bit even easier. All I have to do is dodge that very first thrust. It's not really the chances I win on that are, I think, a lot higher than average, because how likely is Peter going to be able to do that thrust against me? Englishmen are not known to be good with pikes. So I'm just going to dodge around it, grab the spear, hold it in my hand. If he's holding the spear, he has no other weapons, and I'm using that arrow again straight into his British eye. Game over for me. I woke out victorious. The podcast is over because we don't have a guest, but at least I get to keep my life.
Done. Oh my god. All right, Chris.
You asked, sorry, real quick before Chris starts. You asked for an arrow and didn't even fire it.
Yeah,
she
and I
never
actually
said
know
he
how
could
to.
fire it.
And the best part is I actually know how to shoot a bow. But no. If I had two, I'd fire one. But no.
All right.
So the tomahawk is winning this. I'm winning this with the tomahawk. Georgi actually had a decent point. Peter needs to maintain range. If he misses that first thrust, now the thing is, it really doesn't work with Georgi because he's only using his arrow as a mini spear. So he's just in an objectively worse place, and it's probably going to break against Peter. But once you have the tomahawk, if I can get in close, Peter has an arrow, or Georgi has an arrow, and for some reason he's still holding the bow like it's going to do anything for him. And if I can dodge the first thrust of Peter's, he's just going to be trying to get farther and farther away. But by that point, I already have 3 or 4 over the top. It'd be a different story if it was a full-on battle and you could keep range with the spear. But if we're in the Colosseum, the crowd is roaring, they're chanting my name. The tomahawk's going down, and I'm winning this thing.
These are all very good. Pete?
Both of you are making the mistake of thinking that a spear just like thrusts and then it's done. You don't just thrust with the spear. You jab. You do lots of little jabs. That's what you do to keep someone at range. And you look for openings and you poke them. And like I understand that like one poke might not kill you or whatever, but it's going to injure you. And I'm not buying into the idea of Georgie having like a secret Hulk mode that he can just transition into upon being wounded. Both of you are relying on the idea of being able to get past a weapon which has been used for thousands of years, particularly to keep things at distance and poke them. It's really, really good at it. Like almost all civilizations have created it in order to fulfill this idea, to fulfill this gap and beat these two, well, not these two weapons, because no Moran has ever turned up to battle with just a bow and an arrow wiggling. By the way, was the word that you used to avoid things, which I'm also not buying.
Yeah. Oh god. Georgi?
Okay. I want to make a hot take real quick. I think the spear is the most influential weapon in human history. But number one, it's good in formation in armies, and it's easy to use, even for someone like Pete. But Pete can't use the dory. The dory is 2 to 3 meters long. That's 6 feet or 10 feet for our American audience and Chris. So this is such a long spear. It's so easy to get around with. This is the easiest spear for me to wiggle around, get behind your back and stab you multiple times. Jab, 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 jab with a smaller mini spear, as Chris called it. Now against the tomahawk, listen, not an easy matchup. And why am I holding this bow? To kind of like, I'm gonna throw it in your face, confuse you. It's not hard to land. The bow's just gonna slap you on the forehead. You're gonna be a little bit confused, and then while you're still dazed, I'm coming in with the arrow and taking your tomahawk and using it against you. Bam.
He's such a wild card. Okay. Chris.
Okay, so I don't even need to dignify Georgi's answer with the response, because that I don't even think that would work in Neanderthal fighting. I feel like they had like a club is better. No one is using an arrow for melee, and no one is throwing 6-pound, 10-pound bow at you and expecting that to knock you out or something. That's a good point. I'm glad Georgi Googled the spear and how long it was, because once I get around that, though, if it, as long as he doesn't impale me, and maybe even if he does, I now have the weapon. I'm the only person who can do any damage within 7-8 feet. And so I'm just going to do a flurry right there. No pokes. It's just you're done when the tomahawk comes.
Done.
I love that like Chris's strategy is doing like they do in like 300 where you just get like stabbed by the spear and it's just like no, just pull it closer. Just like get in there.
But imagine the shock on your face
Oh, I
when
would
I
be
just
terrified.
pull it in and I keep coming.
That would be terrifying. Yes, that would be.
For all the
Awful.
people in the comments of all the debates so far, I want to win this one the most. So please vote for Georgi, who tried to make a bow and single arrow work against the tomahawk.
We need
and a
someone to
massive
paint this.
spear.
Or is it animated or something?
Gorgie with the bow and the arrow running like this.
I think we
Wiggly.
can actually get a graphic artist on this to make it happen. I think that's doable.
And I keep picturing like Peter and I both have armor on, but for some reason you just have like a tunic or
Nobody
just
said
Yeah.
anything about
a little
armor.
flap.
No, I don't
Yeah,
know.
armor would have changed this one. You know,
It
I
would,
immediately
it would.
the first thing that came to mind is Deadliest Warrior. If anyone's seen that show,
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's like oh my god, this would have been funny.
That was a really fun one, guys.
Oh,
Deadliest Warrior was such a mental show. I mean, they did
I
like
loved it.
they did one episode about like Buddhist monks.
Yeah,
And you know like the sai, the kind of like they kind of look like tiny little tridents. To demonstrate how powerful they were, they just have like one of those like mannequin head things and just the guy just laying into it for like 10 seconds, just like grabbing an eye and just like
the all
and
time.
it's like how is this like even pretending to be like a scientific experiment?
Always do it on like an undefended like pig carcass too,
Yeah.
where it's just like
Yeah.
it looks like it cuts. It would kill someone if you hit him 15 times.
all-time
Yeah, I know,
favorite.
right? It's
The
mental.
Navy, I think it was the Navy SEAL, and they gave him it wasn't even a tactical knife, it was a smaller version of it, and he goes just to town on this one mannequin, and he looks like a monster. It's so great.